Nah, this is real life that we're talking about. We're not talking about dingleberries and applesauce. It's real life.
And that's always been my whole thing, and have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that.
You do it, right?
Yeah.
I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually. But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to the.
No. Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. He wants to hang out with you next week, and I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to f*** you.
Terrence Howard worked on my first film, Get Rich or Die Trying with me. He's a good friend of mine.
Just when it seemed like the Diddy drama couldn't possibly get any more chaotic, bam, 50 Cent jumps into the mix with a bold accusation, claiming he might have actually rescued Terrence Howard from being pulled into Diddy's bizarre and twisted world. But hold on, things only get messier from here. Because now Terrence is finally breaking his silence and actually calling out names, revealing how some major players in the industry never told Diddy no, and how they were more than willing to toss aside their pride just to be part of those notorious FO parties. Terrence says he narrowly escaped the madness himself, and this is where the story completely goes off the rails, allegedly. Diddy's crew reached out to Terrence and asked him to be part of a docu-series. Did he say yes? Well, from what's being reported, Terrence and 50 Cent were actually getting ready to spill all the secrets. Now the real question is, who agreed to work with Diddy? Huge names are being mentioned, and it's possible a few of your favorite rappers are on that list. This situation is spiraling out of control, and now we're all wondering, does 50 Cent really have the receipts ready to drop in that series and expose everyone who showed up at Diddy's wild parties? And what truly happened when Diddy allegedly tried to drag Terrence Howard into that world? Let's break this entire madness down. I'm always right. It's like, when I'm right, and when I'm wrong, I could have been right, so I'm still right, because I might have been wrong. In case you missed it, Terrence Howard recently showed up on the PBD Podcast and delivered one absolutely insane interview, where he opened up about how some major names in the business flat out traded their integrity for access to those elite industry parties. But then things got even deeper. Because Terrence didn't hold back, he said. That exact kind of shady behavior is exactly what went down at Diddy's private events.
Those things. But when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the Puffy party.
He hinted that plenty of celebrities didn't leave those parties the same way they entered them, and when host Patrick Bet-David casually name-dropped Justin Bieber, suggesting he might have been caught up in Diddy's twisted circle, Terrence didn't deny it. In fact, he backed it up, saying, "You can see how some of these stars are still carrying the burden of what went down. Whatever happened at those parties left marks, and not the kind that fade."
It was all the people that went to the Puffy parties. It was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Got punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there, because they get fluid, and next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from, so maintain your man card, no matter what.
And Terrence wasn't done, not even close. He dropped a serious bombshell, claiming that Diddy actually tried to make a move on him. According to Terrence, it all started off innocently enough. Diddy reached out, acting like he needed some help polishing his acting game, but then out of nowhere, he changed his approach and suddenly became interested in Terrence's music. That's when Terrence's assistant stepped in and warned him that something about the whole situation felt seriously off. Really, really off.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there, just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to f*** you.
But here's the wild part. Diddy wasn't the only one pulling shady stuff. Terrence said he had some run-ins with other major producers too, all of them throwing strange behind-the-scenes offers his way. He made it clear, he stood his ground and wasn't about to sell himself out, no matter how big the opportunity was, but because of that, he says he missed out on some major Hollywood deals. He stayed real, and it came at a cost.
A number of producers coming to make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you like, or looking at you like you're a woman. You know, when you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room.
He wasn't about to fold, in any sense of the word, and of course, once Terrence's interview started making the rounds online, social media lit up, people couldn't stop talking.
With that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal.
The craziest part. Most celebrities are keeping completely silent, like they've never even crossed paths with Diddy, except for a few bold ones, like 50 Cent and Cat Williams. Everybody else is pretending like they don't know a thing. Right now, Terrence is the only major star who's publicly said Diddy made a move on him. That's a huge statement, and people are definitely paying attention. And speaking of 50 Cent, he recently dropped more details about his upcoming Diddy documentary. When asked why he's one of the few people actually speaking up, he kept it blunt and said, "It's simple."
You've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now, and then no one was, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy.
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
Was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day? Obviously, I know what was going on there, but is there a reason you never did?
I'm just not with all that freaky shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal.
Now Tyrese is stepping into the conversation too. He posted a clip from Terrence's interview on Instagram and added the caption, "No comment. I'm staying positive. God help us all." Meanwhile, 50's version of staying positive is turning this entire Diddy scandal into fuel for his upcoming Netflix documentary, which promises to expose everything. And here's where things get extra petty. The word on the street is that 50 Cent already hit up Terrence Howard and asked if he'd be down to join the project and spill even more tea about how Diddy allegedly tried to pull him into one of those infamous FO situations.
50 Cent is unmatched. He is unmatched. His pettiness goes beyond anybody that has ever been petty in the hemisphere of pettyism in this damn universe. Child, 50 Cent made a bidding war off of Diddy Do It. Diddy Do It was bought by Netflix, baby. So this docuseries will be out about everything that has happened since Cassie has filed this lawsuit against Diddy. Leave 50 Cent out of everything because this man's pettiness is beyond compare.
Honestly, it's no surprise that 50 wants Terrence to be a part of the Did He Do It series. These two have history. 50 Cent has backed Terrence before, especially when he opened up about being scammed out of millions and blacklisted by big-name studios. They've both dealt with Hollywood's darker side. Lately, Terrence has been raising his voice louder than ever, calling out inequality in the industry. And for him, it's not just about money, it's deeper than that. He says there's a real push in Hollywood to strip black men of their masculinity, and that he was labeled difficult simply because Taraji P. Henson's comment about being underpaid as a black woman in the industry, and his reaction, he wasn't shocked at all. He said, "This kind of disrespect has been happening for years." Then Terrence brought up his own experience working on Hustle Flow. He admitted that if he had known how the Hollywood system really operated back then, he might have made some very different choices. That movie was a massive hit when it dropped in 2005, Paramount put it out, and it pulled in over $75 million at the box office. But guess how much Terrence got paid for the lead role? Just $12,000. Yep, you read that right, 12 grand for starring in a blockbuster film.
Oh, check this out. I made $12,000 for doing Hustle and Flow. And then on top of it, what Paramount did, instead of putting my name as Terrence Howard performing the songs, they put performed by DJ. Well, they own DJ. So guess what? The performance royalties went to Paramount. They went,
Wait a minute. They didn't go to Terrence Howard. They went to
$12,000. That's all I ever made from Hustle and Flow.
Terrence says he's seriously thinking about filing a lawsuit against Paramount to finally collect what he's been owed for the past 2 decades. And honestly, this story is far from wrapping up. Terrence also dropped yet another bombshell, revealing that he only received $6,000 for his role in Crash, a film that eventually went on to win an Oscar. That right there is beyond outrageous.
Send them a letter.
Are you serious?
I gotta send them a letter to say, hey, you guys owe me about 20 years worth of residuals and performance royalties. But I didn't know, I was just trying to pay my rent then. I made $6,000 doing Crash. Crash didn't.
I remember the movie Crash. Yes, that's right. That's right.
The business don't pay actors anything. That's why the strike is going on. Actors are struggling.
When 50 Cent heard about all of this, he didn't waste a single moment. He jumped in and immediately offered his support to both Terrence and Taraji, telling them to head over to G-Unit Film TV, promising to actually pay them what they truly deserve, no tricks or games involved. Now that Terrence is calling out Diddy, 50's longtime rival, it feels like the timing is perfect for the two of them to link up and expose everything. But the real question still remains: who actually said yes? Terrence didn't sugarcoat anything. He outright said that plenty of men in the business basically surrendered their manhood by letting Diddy take full advantage of them. And let's be real, you can probably guess a few of the names people are whispering about, insiders are saying. 50 Cent is fully committed to this upcoming documentary and completely ready to drag every single name into the spotlight. So now the big question is, who's next on the chopping block? One name that keeps coming back around is none other than Jay-Z, even though Jay's been acting distant lately, pretending like he and Diddy were never even close. The receipts definitely say otherwise. Before all the scandal blew up, Diddy used to refer to Jay as part of his extended family, even calling him his strategist. The very first person he'd reach out to when things went left, and we can't forget that clip where Diddy says Jay-Z skipped his own daughter Blue Ivy's recital just to perform at the Bad Boy 20th anniversary concert. If that's not a show of loyalty, then what is? But now Jay's completely ghosting the whole situation.
You know, he had a recital that he has to be at the field. But he reached out to him, and I told him that this right here was important. Bad Boy celebrating 20 years of hits. And this is extended family. You've been there with me through my ups and downs. And this is extended family. You've been there with me through my ups and downs. Whenever I get in trouble, this is the one I call. It's my strategist right here. This is my brother. This B.I.G.'s brother. Yes, sir. This Brooklyn's own Brooklyn.
And don't sleep on the game. He's reportedly going to appear in Tyrese's upcoming documentary too. Back in 2022 on Drink Champs, The Game revealed that Diddy reached out to him about doing an album, but for 2 full years, not a single song was made. Instead, they just traveled the world while Diddy spoiled him with extravagant gifts. Then later on Vlad TV, after the Diddy allegations blew up, The Game talked about it again. 2 years of hanging with Diddy, no studio sessions, just non-stop partying, especially down in Atlanta.
Diddy, right? I ran around with Diddy for 2 years. And this Diddy, we never went to the studio one time, but he was like, yo, with your demo, that you know, bad boy, hey, Playboy, hey, here go a watch, Playboy, here go a chain, Playboy. I'm like, yo, we ever gonna rap? Like, nah.
I was doing it for 2 years.
Yo, but the jet leaves at 5. We going to Miami, Playboy. We going to, you know what I'm saying? We going to New York. We in ATL this weekend, Playboy, pop out. And I was going everywhere with Diddy.
And if you think that's crazy, we're just getting started. there's a whole lot more where that came from, and a bunch of major names might be dragged into Tyrese's upcoming documentary too. Starting with Diddy's longtime friend and producer, Stevie J. Stevie was actually named in that explosive lawsuit filed by producer Lil Rod, who alleged that Diddy outright bragged about hooking up with him, and when 50 Cent came for Stevie over defending Diddy, Stevie clapped back way too hard, like, really defensive. Now everyone's watching closely to see what 50 Cent is going to reveal about him in the doc. Something serious is definitely brewing.
I'm just here to say that I've never seen my man doing anything foul like they talking about.
None of it. All of it. I mean, you know.
I've never seen it. I've known him for 29 years. And then it's like with guys like 50, you know what I'm saying? Like Uncle Tom cats like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, now you want to put me, I don't know if y'all saw the post when 50 posted about me. Of course you guys.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, 50 has been going after Diddy and everybody associated with him for months now, ever since the Cassie lawsuit.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, you can't brush under the rug. I don't see anybody reporting about what Tatted Up Holly said about him beating her up and about, you know what I'm saying, his other baby mom saying beating her up. I just look at it as, you know, he wants to bring the black community down worse than anyone else.
And we've got Machine Gun Kelly, who used to be signed under Bad Boy and was frequently spotted partying with Diddy. MGK even hinted that he saw some really wild things happening around Diddy, though of course, he kept all the juicy details to himself.
When you kick it around him, it's like, his whole life is like, it's crazy to look at, you know what I'm saying? Because I make sure I keep my normality all the time. So that motherfucker's like a walking corporation, it smells.
For now.
And we definitely can't forget DJ Khaled and Rick Ross. According to Diddy's former staffer Jonathan Oy, both of them got exposed too, and whatever he said must have been intense, because folks are still trying to piece together what really happened. During his police interview, Jonathan claimed that Diddy specifically hired him for those infamous freak-off events, and then it gets even crazier. He said that after he contracted an STD from Diddy, he tried to speak out, and that's when Diddy allegedly sent Rick Ross to shut him up. Jonathan says Diddy, Rick Ross, and DJ Khaled were all regulars at those parties, and not just attendees. They were all involved personally.
We say good buddies, okay? They're gay. Who? Both. Diddy and Ross and Khaled. They're all gay. Okay?
DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, and P. Diddy?
Yeah.
They all gay?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, like Terrence Howard put it, a whole lot of men in the industry may have willingly handed over their manhood at Diddy's infamous parties. And if we're being honest, we've only scratched the surface here. There are a lot more names that haven't even been mentioned yet. Basically, if someone used to be seen hanging out with Diddy and now they're out here acting like they don't even know the guy, yeah, go ahead and side-eye them hard. Now all we can really do is wait for 50 Cent's explosive Did He Do It docu-series to finally drop. But in the meantime, what do you think about Terrence Howard's claims that Diddy tried to come on to him? And who else do you think should be exposed next? Hit that like button. Share this with your crew, drop a comment below with your thoughts, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next bombshell episode. Catch you on the next one.